May 22nd, 2014. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 48 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So a while back, we talked about the tallest thermometer in the world, which is in Baker, California. It is on the drive to Las Vegas if you are coming from Southern California.
When you get to Baker, you have basically two things you can do.
Yeah.
Well, three things. Let me take that back.
All
you
right.
can drive on to Vegas.
Yeah.
You can turn around and go back to wherever the hell you came from.
Okay.
Or you can go to Death Valley.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
That's the crossroads right there.
Yep,
yeah, exactly. And they've got the tallest thermometer in the world. We talked about how it's not really a thermometer.
No.
It's not like a big thing full of mercury.
It would be good if it was.
I'd love that. It's just a display, a very tall, 134-foot display that shows the temperature and lights that move up.
The lights move up as the temperature.
As the temperature
There's
moves
probably
up.
some tiny thermometer that,
Just some little tiny thing
some
that's
little
hooked up
thing,
to,
and
right?
some guy looks at, oh, it's 85. Okay, light it up to 85.
He just manually does it. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, it had kind of fallen into disrepair, and it was for sale for a while. And it looks like it is no longer for sale, and that the widow of the original owner has taken it over and is going to spruce it up.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
Well, I love that. I love that it means something to her.
Yeah.
Right, obviously. Yeah. And so she's willing to put some money and fix it up.
So that's good news, because even though it's not in Las Vegas, it's very Vegas-y.
Yeah,
and,
right.
It's...
Well, and for you and I know whenever we got to Baker and saw that thermometer, it was like, ooh, we're not far.
We're pretty close to state line,
yeah,
and that's
we're close to state
Las
line.
Vegas.
Oh, we would get excited. It's I think it's like 30 minutes from there to state line.
Is it? Or maybe it's an hour to state line? I think it's like an hour.
Oh, you're right.
Line,
it's like 60 miles, 50 something miles.
Yeah.
It's like an hour. And then from state line into Caesars, it's another 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing this next time we drive.
Yeah.
So
I'll see it in July.
That's right. Cause I'm going to,
it is past Las Vegas, an hour and a half, right on the border of Nevada and Arizona. It's Mesquite.
Yeah, that's right.
Mesquite, Nevada.
You're going there for a wedding, right?
For a wedding, yeah. And I hear that's like tons of golf courses and then a few casinos.
Yeah, I've driven through there before. Yeah. I stopped.
So we'll have to drive on 15. So we'll see the new. I'll give you a report.
All right. If it's, I don't think they had a time for when it would be fixed, but let me know. I'll be anxious to hear about it.
And we'll stop at that Greek guy's place in Baker there. What's it called?
The
Mad Greek.
Yeah, and doesn't he have like alien jerky and stuff
alien
like that?
jerky and all kinds of odd stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a fun place to walk through. That's the two things Baker has to. Oh, and it had a Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah, or it was a Bun Boy.
Bun Boy.
Right? And now maybe it's a Big Boy. They might have switched.
Yeah, I think they switched.
Yeah. Hey, we want to remind everybody to call our hotline. We don't have any voicemail this week, but we'd love to hear from you. Our voicemail hotline is 951-292-4377, or easier to remember, 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
So we got an email from listener Todd, who had a couple of stories and some questions. One of the things he was asking was, when you're playing craps, do you get rated on your free odds? When you take odds on the pass line or the come, or the don't pass or the don't come, does that count towards your comps and your rating?
No rating.
Nope.
Never has.
I don't know
and
of any
it won't
casino that
because you're getting paid true odds.
Right.
Casino has no edge. They figure they have no edge. Why rate you on that?
Yeah. I think they should, only because, the money's probably coming their way anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, they probably, how greedy they are. They probably figure that they have no edge on you and, you should win that bet anyway.
Yeah. So that was one thing. The other thing he talked about, and this was great, he was actually chatting up with a dealer in Vegas when the dealer was just standing around at a table to give like craps classes. Oh. And so the dealer wasn't really doing anything. And Todd started talking to him about the prospect of buying the 5 and 9. Now, typically with craps, and certainly this was the way it was 30, 40 years ago, the only buy bets that were better than place bets were buying the 4 and 10.
Right.
If you worked out the math, it made more sense to buy the 4 and 10 than to place it. And again, when you buy a number, you pay 5% VIG for the opportunity to make that buy bet.
Right. And even the 4 and 10s, it's a better bet, but it's not substantially better.
It's not well, if you have to pay the VIG up front, it's not substantially better.
If you have to pay the VIG up front.
Right. And that's the way that it used to be. Well, about 20 some years ago, Vegas started collecting the VIG only on winning wagers. And this was great because that reduced the house edge on buying the 4 and 10 quite a bit.
Right.
Well, something that wasn't talked about too much at that time was, what about some of the other numbers? Since the VIG is only being collected now on winning bets, would it make more sense to buy the 5, 6, 8, and 9 instead of placing them?
Right.
It turns out in the case of the 6 and 8, no.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Right.
But for buying the 5 and 9, now think about this example, and Todd gave this example too. If you are paying the VIG only on a winning bet, okay, and you make a $20 wager on the 5, okay, and that's a buy bet. If the 5 comes up, you get paid 3-2, which is the true odds of rolling a 5 before a 7.
Right.
So you'll get $30, and then they'll collect $1 for the VIG, because $1 is 5% of your $20 bet.
Of your $20 bet.
Okay?
Correct.
So you made a $20 buy bet, and you got $29.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you had made a $20 place bet,
you're going to get 28.
Yeah. So it's $1 better. So, why not do it every time? If you're betting at least $20,
Right.
I think the cutoff is around like 16.
That just presupposes that they collect the VIG on winning bets only.
It has to be on winning bets only. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, you and I were playing at Luxor. And it was when they had just started collecting only on winning buy bets.
Right.
Right.
I remember this.
And I actually said, okay, I'd like to buy the 5 and 9 now.
Right.
And the dealer said, oh, in the case of the 5 and 9, we collect the VIG up front.
Right. Yeah.
So they actually had different rules. It was only on the 4 and 10 that they collected the VIG on winners.
Right. And the 5 and 9, they didn't because they didn't want you to make that.
They didn't want you. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't want that.
They wanted more money.
Because that extra $1 was going to break.
Why did they make the rule that they only collect the VIG on winners if, I mean, that
that's why
helped the player.
Excalibur's still there today.
Excalibur?
I mean...
Luxor?
That's why Luxor's still there today.
Because Well, now, see, I think now, this was quite a while ago. Right. I'm pretty sure that most casinos now in Las Vegas will collect the VIG only on winners for every number. I actually haven't tried to buy the 5 and 9.
Yeah, we'll try it here when we go in a few weeks.
Okay, yeah. Let's try that.
We'll try that and see what they say. See what happens.
Yeah.
I bet you that varies from casino to casino.
It could. Well, I think in this case, Todd was talking to the dealer about it, and the dealer hadn't even really heard of anybody trying to do it.
Really?
They sat there and worked through the math.
Right.
And so I imagine the dealers really just don't see it very often.
So on a $100 bet, you're going to pay $5.
Right. Right.
And so a $100 place is going to pay $140.
Right.
And a $100 buy is going to pay $150 minus your $5, $145.
$145. Yeah.
Yeah. Substantial difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason that you don't see it happening too much is because as in the history of craps, 4 and 10 have been the buy numbers.
Right.
And so, it's just a cultural thing where, people just aren't used to it.
We'll probably do it. We'll probably find out they don't have enough buy buttons. Everyone will start doing it, right? There won't be enough buy buttons.
Out of buy buttons. That's it. Buy bets are closed.
Yeah, right.
Todd went on to tell the story, but he was playing. I love this. He was playing at a table, and there were some novice players there. This is the only excuse that they get for this, is that they were novice. But what he saw them doing was they put $10 on the don't pass for the come out roll. And then when a point was established, they moved their $10 bets onto the pass line.
They wanted to be at a disadvantage at any cost.
That's right. So as soon as a point was established, like say a 5, they thought, well, now we've got the edge on the casino. Let's move over to the pass line where they have the edge on us.
Where they have the edge on us. Yeah. They should have just been over. Took their spanking and left the casino. Why fool around?
Again, they were novices. I think in this case, really, if you saw somebody doing this, I think the dealer should speak up.
Right.
And at least, and then if the player says, oh, no, this is the way I like to play, then the dealer can shut up, right? But, probably it would be a situation, thank you. I think that's when a dealer should step in.
I wonder what they were thinking, though. What went through their mind?
Who knows? They may have read something or heard something about how to play and got confused.
Maybe. But I mean, why would you move from the don't pass to the pass line?
That's the worst. I told.
Unless you're psychic. Oh, I know that eight's coming up. I
told Todd it was the most stupid thing I've ever heard of somebody doing at the craps table.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to thank everybody who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, and who doesn't? Everybody does.
Everybody does.
Right. Go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the cost of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You pay the same price just like normal. Hey, we're going to Vegas.
Yep.
We really are.
June 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
But it's really June 7th.
It's only June 7th, especially for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming back on
I'll be there
flight.
a little bit, half a day on the 8th.
Yeah.
But we're getting there late on the 6th.
Yeah, so we're getting there late on the 6th, which is a Friday. And our flight lands at like 11 p.m., something like that, right? So we won't even be situated in the rooms till, like midnight.
Well, that's the limo that's going to drive us. Right?
Oh, you got a ride for us to go?
Yeah, we got a
All right.
ride. So the limo will pick us up right when we land. Yeah, it'll be midnight.
See, and you're staying at Caesars.
Right.
I couldn't swing a room at Caesars, so I'm staying at Paris.
We'll drop you off.
Do you think the guy will drop me off?
We'll just drop you off on the strip. He'll just pull over.
That's right. Get out. That's right. Somebody's behind me. So we're getting in late on the 6th. We'll be there all day Saturday the 7th. Yeah. And then I'm leaving. My flight is like 7:30 in the morning on Sunday the 8th. So I'll be out of there right away. Wonder if I should even go to sleep Saturday night.
No, there's no reason to sleep. I mean, we wouldn't sleep normally anyway.
Yeah. All right. I'll think about it.
Okay. So I have a $500 dinner.
Oh, okay.
For our trip.
Oh, nice.
So we can go to dinner on probably Saturday night.
Yeah.
At Caesar's discretion, I guess.
Right.
We should try that Gordon Ramsay over at Paris. I've heard a lot of good things about it. If they'll take the $500 complimentary dinner.
Oh, okay.
Because you never know.
Oh, some of those restaurants
name restaurants.
They won't take the total rewards or any of those comps. Yeah.
So we'll have to check on that. But otherwise, the steak place at Caesar's is good too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's plan on that. And I may go on the high roller, the big Ferris wheel now that's there at the link. Okay. Because we got to do it at least once.
Got to waste a few minutes on that.
Maybe at night because,
Yeah, you've never seen Vegas at night.
All right. And we're also there during the World Series of Poker. Now, obviously, we're only there for one day, so we're not going to play in any tournaments. But I would like to head over to Rio and just kind of
we definitely will do
get the sense, take in the whole milieu.
My brother will be there and my wife. So the four of us will head over there for that.
Good. Okay.
And we should spend a little time gambling, maybe playing some craps at Caesar's.
We might do that too. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Let's pencil that in.
Yeah, we'll pencil that in.
And maybe we'll do that. So anyway, we'd love to see anybody who'd like to meet up with us. But really, it's going to be basically just that Saturday, June 7th. So let us know.
And we can work our schedule around whatever.
Yeah, sure. And we'll be tweeting the whole time. Every move that we make, we'll tweet.
Especially Saturday evening, I think, after dinner.
Yeah.
Because if we go over to the World Series of Poker, or we do anything else, we'll probably do it in the morning on Saturday. Or afternoon.
No, I don't want to do it in the morning because nobody's playing in the morning.
Well, maybe afternoonish.
All right.
We'll probably come back to Caesar's, eat dinner, and then we'll be at Caesar's the rest of the night.
Okay. I'm going to make a schedule that we're going to have to stick to religiously. Okay.
That'll work well.
That works with all of our trips, I think.
Yeah.
That's worked for every trip we've ever taken.
You'll stick to it, and I'll just be at the craps table.
That's right.
What the hell? Whatever you want, I'll be here.
Mike, I'm in the high roller. Mike, can you hear me? Shut up. I'm shooting. So the Downtown Grand is a relatively new casino, downtown Las Vegas. It's where the old Lady Luck was.
Right.
Right. And when it opened, one of the things that gamblers were looking forward to was the promise of street dice. They were going to have street dice, right? So you had these visions of, guys lined up on the street and throwing the dice against the wall and, wads of money being exchanged, and like
just randomly being exchanged.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, they finally have introduced street dice at the Downtown Grand.
Okay.
And it's not quite what you've envisioned.
Is it played on a craps table like a normal table?
Oh, no. But you're also not actually throwing it against the wall of the casino.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like that. What it is it's this kind of like this big box that is painted to look like brick all around, right?
Right.
Like you're in an alley.
Right.
And there's a table at one end where you make your wagers, and then you throw the dice into this big box, like you're throwing it in an alley against a wall.
Okay. And is everyone playing together or?
Yes. Everybody's playing together. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like you're taking turns rolling the dice into the box.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And what it is a very simplified version of craps.
Okay.
Okay. There are only 2 bets on the layout for you to make. The basic bet, which I don't even think has a name. We were looking at this and it's just a basic bet. Think of it as like the pass line bet.
Right. Okay.
But it's just a basic bet. And then there's a side bet that we'll talk about in a little bit. Okay. So you make your bet. Now, the first roll is called the set the point roll. Think of it as like the come out roll.
It's the come out roll.
But they don't call it that. They call it the set the point roll.
Okay.
Right? You make your wager just, again, on this basic wager. If you roll a 2, 3, or 12, you lose. If you roll an 11, you win.
Yeah.
So far, it sounds like real craps. If you roll a 7, it's a push.
You just roll again.
You just roll again.
So it's, I wonder why that is.
Well, there are more rules coming, so you'll find out, right? Okay. So that's the big difference, is that the 7's not an automatic winner like it is in the pass line.
So you're at a huge disadvantage on the come out.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. You are
or
much
the set
bigger,
the point roll.
Right, the set the point roll. Okay. If you roll any other number, it becomes the point, just like in craps.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. All right?
Right.
At that point, you now have 3 rolls to try to roll your point again. Just 3 rolls.
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you don't hit your point again in 3 rolls, you lose.
Correct.
Your bet.
Yes.
And if you do hit it, you win.
Yes.
And if you roll a 7 in one of those 3 rolls,
you lose.
You lose too.
Okay. The difference between this and real craps, though, is that you will get paid at odds depending on what your point is and at what roll you roll your point. The first, second, or third roll.
Right. Okay.
You get paid at odds.
Right.
So the difficult numbers, 4 and 10, if you roll it right back on that first roll, it pays 5 to 1.
Okay.
If it takes you till the second roll, you roll the 4 or 10 on the second roll, it's 4 to 1. And if you do it on the third roll, it's 3 to 1.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to get it on the third roll.
Right. Well, it's true. I mean, chances, right? If your point is 5 or 9, it's 4 to 1 if you roll the point on the first roll, 3 to 1 if you roll it on the second roll, and 2 to 1 if you roll it on the third roll.
Okay.
And if your point is 6 or 8, 3 to 1 if you roll it on the first roll, 2 to 1 if you roll it on the second roll, and even money if you roll it on the third roll. Okay? And that's it. That's the whole game.
Okay.
Right? Now, there is a side bet that we'll talk about. It's called the brick bet. It's a bet that you make on the set the point roll, and it's a bet
only on the set the point roll accounts.
Well, no, that's when you have to make.
You have to make it at that point.
You have to make it on the set the point roll. It's called the brick bet. It's a side bet. It is a bet that you will make your point by rolling it hard.
On the next roll?
No.
Or within 3 rolls?
Within the 3 rolls.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. All right.
So let's talk about this bet a little bit more.
Right.
Okay. If the set the point roll.
How do 5 and 9 work?
You're going to find out real quick, my friend.
Okay.
On the set the point roll, if 7 or 11 comes up, it's a push. The
Right.
brick bet is a push. If 2, 3, 12.
Don't tell me you lose.
Or 5 or 9.
You lose.
You lose.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So you have to get past that set the point roll with a point that you can roll hard.
You're right. You either have to roll a 4, a 6, 8, or 10, or a 7, 11 just to push.
Just right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then once you get past that,
then you have to make it again hard.
You have to make it again hard.
Okay. So you are throwing your money away big time if you make that bet.
It turns out it's about a 6% edge.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
That's a pretty big edge.
And getting back to the basic bet too, it's about a 5% edge.
Okay.
Okay. It's played outside. It's kind of novel. It looks like
it's
it
played
might,
outside.
Yeah, right. So it's played outside. So even though you're not actually throwing it against the wall, you are outside playing it. Street dice, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. I think this game is doomed.
Yeah.
Not just because of the long odds, but here's the problem. I think that basic bet loses so often.
Right.
Sure, when it wins, it might get paid at odds. If you have a hard point, you roll it.
It's going to lose
But think of how often it loses. 2, 3, 12, an automatic lose. A 7 out in 3 rolls within the 3 rolls is an automatic is a lose. And if you don't roll your point or a 7 in 3 rolls, it's a lose.
In 3 rolls, it's just not enough. How many times have you been at a table and I've turned to you and said, God, this guy's having a good roll. I wish he could make his damn point. Right. Because his point will be 5 and he'll roll 3 8s and 2 6s and some few craps and everything. And you're just thinking, come on, roll the point.
Yeah. So I just do not see this game taking off. I think the problem for craps players is, just like you said, they're not going to enjoy it. It's like, what? Right. And for novices that they're obviously trying to appeal to, there are too many losses.
Right. They're going to lose their $20 really quick.
With most table games, there's usually a basic bet that appears to be 50-50, at least to the player. It's like, half the time I win, half the time I lose.
Right.
And then it's the side bets that only win every once in a while.
Right.
But there's so many ways to lose this basic bet.
They could keep the side bet. You know what they could do? They could make it from 3 rolls to like 6 rolls, and then have the odds something like, well, if you roll it in the first or second roll, you get 5-1, third or fourth, 4-1, and fifth or sixth.
Yeah, they
and
could tweak it.
I don't know how the math would work out on that for their favor. I'm sure it'd still be in their favor, but at least you'd have 6 rolls. It seemed like your money sat there for a while.
Even then, I think that would doom the game too, because then you've got all these rolls that are meaningless.
That's true.
My point's 5. I rolled a 9.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Nobody's affected.
Right.
Nobody wins or loses.
It could be boring.
Okay, another roll. Oh, it's a 4.
Do they have a stick guy that gives the dice back?
Yeah, it's like one of those long poles with a grabber at the end, because it actually is kind of on the ground that they pick up the dice and give it back to the shooter. Yeah.
Oh God, that sounds like torture.
Yeah,
sounds like torture.
So, but for Vimp, we'll have to go check it out at least.
The only way this is going to go, is if they've got semi-naked girls dancing around behind the wall or something. That's the only way.
It'd be outside. I don't think that's going to fly. I don't think they'll.
You don't think they'll?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think the game is doomed. But I love the fact that they're trying something new.
Yeah. And we have to play it because we play every game. Right. So, we're going to have to at least play it.
Oh, and
we should probably do it soon while it's still there.
I know.
Right?
See, that's the thing. We don't have time to go downtown on this trip coming up. No. It won't be till October. The funny thing is, over at the Wizard of Vegas forum, people started talking about it before it actually started. And it just so happens when it premiered just this last week, Michael Shackelford, the Wizard of Odds himself, was the first player there to try it out. So he actually rolled the first one. And he said, there were some, like one dealer at one point, like a hard way was rolled, but it wasn't the point. And the dealer started to pay the brick bet.
Oh, okay.
But then there was a pit boss there who said, no, it's got to be the point, that kind of thing. So.
Oh, God. I wonder who thought of that.
Who knows? I mean, that is a good question, but I don't know. I think it's doomed.
Yeah.
All right. We got an email from friend of the show, Miken. She was talking to some people, and the subject turned to gambling. She was talking with a couple of people, one of whom she said played some professional poker.
Okay.
So this guy spent some time in the casino. But she asked him, hey, if you had a couple of gambling-related questions to ask Mark and Dr. Mike, what would they be? So here are the questions that they came up with. Number 1, how much money do I have to gamble for the casino to change my odds? Now, if the question really is to change the odds of a particular game, you'd have to have a ton of money. I mean, you'd have to be throwing around like $1 million or something to actually.
You probably have to do more than that, I bet you. Yeah, I bet you $1 million wouldn't do it.
I mean,
you'd have to be some guy who, here's my $10 million bankroll. I'm going to play this weekend. I want to change, blackjack rules. And then you might be able to get him to sway that a little bit.
Right. Now, I know there was people might be familiar with this story of this gambler, Don Johnson, who did actually go into casinos and make deals with them. But I think a lot of that was based on comps and loss rebates and things like that,
Right,
saying,
right.
okay,
Yeah, he
I'm
did.
going to play for this amount of time. I want 20% back on
Right.
losses, that kind of
Right.
thing. Right.
Yeah. He asked for a lot of comps. is what
Right.
he
Now,
did.
I don't know if he actually got them to change any rules, like, okay, I want you to hit, not hit soft 17 or something like
Right.
that. But I mean, the short answer to this question is, most of us don't have enough money to actually have them change
Right.
the odds. Now, having said that, there are games within a casino where the higher limits have better rules.
Right.
Right? I mean, there are plenty of times where you go into a casino and, the $5 blackjack table is, 6 to 5 and hit soft 17. And then if you find a $25 table, well, maybe that's double deck, 3 to 2,
Right.
stand on soft 17, different, so
Right.
that, that can happen.
Yeah, they're catering to the bigger bet because they still know they're at an edge.
Right. Even with video poker, I know, like at Caesar's Palace, you can find a 9-6 jacks or better, but only in the high limit
Only
room.
in the high limit room.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So, in that case, I guess you could say maybe the rules are changing, but it's the casinos, they've made the decision up
But what
front.
about that day of the year when they give everyone that free 7?
Oh, yeah, that is nice. Where sometime I think in August or something, you go in and everybody gets like this little token where they can have a free 7 at the craps table.
Yeah.
And then when a 7 comes up, you use that token, and then the 7 doesn't count.
It's like a mulligan in
Yeah,
golf.
I want to make sure everybody knows here that we're joking. All right? I know we had the April Fool's show and we played it straight. There is no such thing
As a free 7?
as a free 7.
God, it'd be great if there was.
The reason we bring it up, there's a book that you and I read years ago
yeah.
about a casino host who had told one of his players that, you get a free 7 today.
And he was, kind of in a serious manner.
Yeah, and the player actually tried to use it at the craps table. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you had a free 7, you'd throw all of your money out there
Right.
on the table, right? And
Right.
all right.
And just wait for that 7 to come up.
Yeah. Okay, the second question that we got was, in sports betting on a bet, when does the smart money come in? Early or late? And who is the smart money? This is a great question. So really the general definition of smart money is money that's being bet by the players who know what they're doing.
Or who have information,
Right.
inside information that might not be available to the public.
Right, exactly. Sports bettors, sports sharps who, have some information.
Yeah, they know that some guy's ankle's hurt.
Right.
He's going to
Nobody else
play
knows.
anyway, but they know that in practice his ankle got hurt. He's not 100%, something like that.
So that's the smart money. Now, who is making these smart money bets? Again, it's the people who know what they're doing, but who knows what they're doing? Right. So,
Well, I think some of it is just people who, well, for instance, let's say your brother is coach for the Knicks, right? And, you happen to talk to him that day and he says, oh yeah, our starting forward, banged himself pretty good. He's probably going to start, but he may not play much. Well, then, you might be the smart money, right?
Yeah, that's
because you might go make a bet on the other team thinking that, well, we're going to lose our best player at some point in this game.
Yeah.
And that's how that works.
Boy, there's a sports gambler who's close to the source. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
But that's basically just what smart money is. Now, when is smart money wagered? All right, let's talk about a couple of things first. Specifically, the difference between horse racing betting and other sports betting. And we've talked about this before, but keep in mind that when you're making a sports wager on most games, football, baseball, hockey, that kind of thing, when you make your wager, you are locked in to the line when you make the bet. Okay, so if the point spread is +7, when you make the bet, you get that line of +7, right? Or whatever the money line is. And then if the line moves after you've made the bet, it doesn't move for your wager. You are locked in, right? For horse racing, it is the opposite. Since it's parimutuel, when you make a wager on a horse or any kind of wager, you won't know what the odds are for that bet until post time.
Till the no betting is anymore, which
Right.
is basically a few seconds before they hit the gate.
Right. So in horse racing, basically, how much people wager a certain way will determine the payout.
Right.
Okay. So those are the two different, distinctions between typical sports betting and horse racing.
So in horse racing, the smart money is going to come in right at the end. because they don't want to shift things too much. And so that other people won't put money on it too.
Right. They don't want people to be able to see the odds
Like
shifting.
Right.
And then rush to the window and make their bet.
Right.
So in horse racing, typically, and we're making generalizations here. Absolutely. Yeah. But typically the smart money in horse racing is coming out at the end because maybe, a bunch of money is going down and it's going to shift the odds quite a bit.
Right. And if they did it early, then everyone would run to the window and do something different than what they were.
Or doing the exact same thing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the money is shifting.
Right.
This is almost a favorite. I've got to get money on this. There's something about this horse that, nobody knew until the money came in. So that's in horse racing. Typically the smart money is coming in at the end. For other sports betting, the smart money is typically coming in at the early.
Right.
When the lines are first posted.
Right. And it's like you said, they're taking advantage of some problem with the line. In other words, that team's favored by 5, but that they're not going to, win by 5 because something has happened.
Right.
And so you put a bunch of money down on them, on the other team, getting your 5 points. And then the odds will shift later when the bookmakers get too much money one way.
Right. And so now suddenly they're 4-point favorites, 3-point favorites, and it goes down.
Right.
But the smart money is
You've
locked in.
still got your, exactly.
Yeah. So again, smart money is just, it's the players who know what they're doing. And for typical sports betting, the smart money comes in early. For horse racing, it comes in late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who sports bet and pretend that have you found this? That pretend like they know a lot.
Oh, of course.
And they really don't know any more than you or I.
They're just most players.
Yeah. They're just going by things like, well, they're going with their backup goalie tonight and, he's not as good. So, I'm going to go with the other team but they're just basically guessing.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know that I call that smart money.
No.
Smart money is when something is.
And what, the casinos apparently have ways of determining when smart money is coming in. I have no idea how they do it, but there's got to be some network of, information to figure it out. But you're absolutely right. Most sports bettors, they're listening to the sports radio or they're reading the paper,
Right.
And they've got a job, right? They've got a 9 to 5 job. And I've done this.
I've listened to prior to a football weekend, like on a Thursday, I've listened to sports talk shows and they give their picks for the week.
Sure.
And I've many times listened to that and thought, that guy's got a point. Maybe I should take this other team. And then it turns out that they're totally way off base.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just blowing hot air like I would be blowing hot air.
Well, and then you would think that they'd know more about it because that's their job, right? That's all they talk about and think about all day, right?
No,
yes.
But it's not. They don't.
I've always wondered too, when it comes to, we've got some sports betting locations in Tijuana. Right, south of us. And I've always wondered if the betting is biased towards Southern California teams. Like if you went down there, the line down in Tijuana, people are making bets on the Chargers and the Dodgers and, just all these Southern California
the
teams.
Raiders there's certain teams.
You think it'd be maybe biased and, maybe you could take advantage of that. Right. Depending on.
That's true. There probably is some bias. Just like in the East Coast, there'd probably be some bias on.
Well, it could be, but see, where do you make sports bets on the East Coast, right? That's the difference, right?
With a bookie.
Well, yes, yeah.
I mean, that's where
excuse me. I should have answered my own question right away. Are there bookies on the East Coast?
No.
I don't know. We'll
no, that wouldn't
let us
happen.
know. Drop us a line and you can bet on that at gmail.com.
Now, my cousin always had an offshore account.
Right.
For years, he had an offshore account. He bet football. He loved football betting, and he would bet football on an offshore account. And then as he got older, he kind of got tired of that. But, he always funded his offshore account with
Anyway, Mike, and thanks for the email. All right, let's move on to the poker home games segment. This is the segment of the show where we talk about poker games that you wouldn't play in a poker room in a casino, but that you might play with your buddies when you get together for a poker night. Tonight, we're going to talk about 5-2. This is hot off the presses because it was first introduced to me last night at the home game. Our good friend Lyndon introduced it. He wasn't quite sure about the rules as he was explaining the game. But
where did he find out about it?
He supposedly read about it in a book. But we got it nailed down to the exact rules, at least the way we played it.
You looked it up?
No, but it played well enough that we played it several times. And so
this could or could not be the right way to play it.
Right.
It just worked out well.
If it even is an official game. I couldn't find anything about it on the internet or anything. But anyway, 5-2, here's how it works. It's a blind game. So you post the blinds, and there are 3 betting rounds.
Okay.
We played it 2, 4, 4.
$2, $4, $4.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
At the beginning, everybody gets 3 cards down. So after the blinds are posted, you look at your cards, and then, you decide whether you're going to play or not. There's a betting round.
That's the $2 round.
That's the $2 round is just there, right? After that betting round, all players who are still in get another down card.
Okay.
And then 1 community card is dealt up in the middle of the table.
So now you have 5 cards, 4 which are unique to you, and 1 which is a community card.
Right, exactly. And now there's a $4 betting round.
Okay.
Okay, this is playing at limit, right? $4 betting round. All right, after that betting round, again, all players who are still in get 1 final down card.
Okay.
So now they have 5 down cards. And then a second community card is dealt face up in the middle of the table.
2 community cards.
Yep, exactly. A final betting round. All the players make their best 5-card hand using 0 or 2 of the community cards.
Oh, okay. So this is not like an upside down Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
Okay.
If you use one of the community cards, you have to use them both.
Okay.
You can't just use one.
You either have to play your 5-card hand,
right?
Or you have to play 3 in your hand and 2 of the community cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right.
It played well. We played it high-low declare.
All right.
Which
that's probably a good way to play
very
that.
well, right? And I mean, that's as simple as it is. As we played a few rounds, we thought, this might play better if we played it $2, $4, $6.
Okay, yeah.
Because the 3 betting rounds kind of threw us. Right. It was like, there's only one $2 round, and then the pots weren't quite as big.
Right.
Because only the 3 rounds. So next time we might play it $2, $4, $6.
Okay.
But it played very well. And the high-low declare became interesting because I'll give you an example. On one of the hands, the 2 cards out there were like Jack Deuce. Okay. Right. And one of the players, I think, folded his hand. He had like 6, 7 ace in his hand. And then, I don't know, a couple of high cards.
Right.
And people were saying, why didn't you stay in for low? Because you would have been playing, like, if you used the cards on the table, you'd play Jack, 7, 6, 2 ace.
Right.
Which is one way of thinking of it. But then if another player just has like a 10 high in his 5
hand,
cards.
Right, he beats you.
Yeah. So there was a lot of discussion about, what are good hands to play, that kind of thing.
Right.
We did not see huge hands. I think I won one with just 2 pair.
Yeah. See, I like games like that.
Yeah.
I favor games where you don't need huge hands to win.
Yeah, right.
It seems like there's more poker play.
A lot of home games that we talk about have wild cards or so many cards out there that, the winning hands are 4 of a kind and straight flush and stuff like that.
It just doesn't seem as much poker into that.
But like I said, it played very well, and so I'm sure that we're going to play it again.
I suppose you could put a wild card in this as well.
Oh, you could. Well, you could do that in any game, right?
But you'd say you could do wild cards going both ways. The 2 cards that are up, highest one is wild going low.
That's true.
Lowest one is wild going high.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is interesting.
And then you don't have to use them.
Again, it played well without wild cards. As far as strategy goes, since everybody has 5 down cards, you really can't tell what people have, right? They could have a made hand just right there, right?
Sure.
So, as far as starting hands go, again, you start with 3 down cards. I don't know, when we were playing high-low, you need cards that are really well connected. And see, this is the difference between this and, say, Omaha, where you can only use 2 from your hand.
Right.
But you want cards that are well connected and give you some pretty good low potential, too.
Right.
That was at least the strategy that I got from the limited time that we played.
Right, yeah. So you'd hope to have like a ace 2, 3 in your hand.
Oh, of course,
Because then you'd have a straight potential. You'd have
ace 2, 3 suited, something like that. Yeah, because there's so many,
Well, what if you had, like you said, a 10, right? You could have 10, 8, and a 6 all suited.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Think about that, because if one high card comes up, if one face card comes up of the 2, you're looking pretty good low with a 10. If you don't go above that.
No, I disagree. I think that 10's way too high to think about low.
So what, 8?
With 3 cards? No, I mean, you want it, like if you had like ace, deuce, king, something like that, right? Because the ace deuce is good for low, ace king maybe for high, or a pair of aces
but the
with
ace
deuce.
Deuce could mean nothing if the top hand is, got a jack in it or a queen.
I can't see. No, I don't. No, I think they've got to be better connected than that.
8, maybe 7.
All high cards, or maybe if all 3 were 7 or lower, something like that.
We'll have to play it enough to get a feel for it.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the game, 5-2. If anybody else has a home game they'd like us to talk about on the show, drop us a line at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, on the left-hand side of our homepage, under categories, there's a link called Poker Home Games. Click on that, and it will take you to a page that lists all the home games we've talked about and the episodes on which we talked about them. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of You Can Bet on That. Be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline. And you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about how greedy casinos are.
Yeah, we've got a lot to say about that.
Yeah. With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonThat.com. And on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Like we said, give us a call on our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. So we're going to have one more episode before our trip.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it again next time, too. But again, we're going to tweet the whole time we're there so that everybody knows where we're at. What else you got?
Well, I got 2 final things to say. Number one, I'm excited about this 5-2.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't here when you played it.
No.
But it sounds like a good game. It sounds like a game I'd like. And it's new. I haven't heard of it before, so I'm excited about that. And number 2, my 8-year-old daughter said to me the other night, she was talking about craps. And I said, well, when you're 21, I'll take you to casino. We'll play craps.
Okay.
And she said, well, shouldn't I learn how to play it first? And I thought to myself, I have been negligent with my daughters.
Yeah.
They should already know how to play craps.
It's true. You've got your own table. How do they not know?
Right. I mean, even though they can't go to a casino, they should still be able to play craps.
Exactly.
You had a blackjack game in high school.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Yeah. So my daughters can have an illegal craps game in grade school.
Oh, that'd be great to have them kicked out.
For playing street craps, right?
That's out there. No, we're going to play the downtown grand rules of street craps.
Shut up, Billy. Just roll.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, I'm glad you liked 5-2. It was funny. We were giving Lyndon a hard time when he was trying to explain it because, he was trying to remember all the
I could see Lyndon trying to explain it.
But once we got it down, it's like, hey, this works. This actually is a good game.
That's not a bad thing. It sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.